Dark Watchers are described as tall, sometimes giant-sized, featureless silhouettes often acquired with large hats or walking sticks. The first history recorded of the Dark Watchers date back to 13,000 years ago with the Chumash natives who had inhabited the region. There isn't much else history on them besides them showing up while people are taking hikes on the Santa Lucia Mountains. The following is eyewitness testimony. Number 5. Midlight Raven. In 2013, there was a report made by Elizabeth Benitez of San Mateo, California, who claimed to have seen the specters in broad daylight near the San Luis Obispo Reservoir. She would say of this encounter, "I remember one day my friend and I were coming back from Los Angeles. We passed the San Luis Obispo Reservoir, and as we drove on the road, I saw something at a distance down at the end of the mountain. It was a really big human figure. It had a black cape, kind of like the Grim Reaper, and it was leaning over holding onto a staff at a puddle of water. Or so that is what it seemed, at a distance. It was in daytime too, so I could identify it wasn't a person. Even in midlight, he was very black and reminded me of a raven. I told my friend that was driving to look over at the mountains, and surprisingly, she was able to see a glimpse of it. I asked her what she saw without giving her my details, and then she said exactly what I saw. She only looked at it for about 5 seconds, but she was able to see it. She almost lost control of the car too when she looked away at it, and I begged her to go back and see it, but she was very tired of driving already. These Dark Watchers are real." Number 4. 10-Foot Tall. Also in 2013 was an account from a witness known only as Brian from Hollister, California, who claimed to have seen the entities as they were driving home. He would say of the incident, "We were coming home to the San Juan Bautista Hollister side when we saw a very large dark figure standing at the edge of the mountains, which is extremely weird since I've never seen anyone cross over the barbed wire fence and I travel that road daily and at all hours. We drove by it slowly, behind the figure, noticing it staring off into the distant valleys and mountains. It appeared to have a large cape with straight shoulders that were very broad. It seemed to have a hunch on its back. At first, from a distance, I thought it was a condor, but when I got closer, it stood over 10 feet tall. It did not notice us driving behind it, but when we found a spot on the cliffy road to turn around and get a better look, it was gone." Number 3. In a plume of smoke. There have been many other reports as well. As recently as 2018, there was a report from a witness from Ojai, California, who was out hiking in the mountains when he came across something very bizarre indeed. He would say, "I was hiking up a remote trail up to 33 in Ojai. I was about an hour up the mountain, no people, no cars in sight. As I was hiking, I had this eerie feeling I was being watched. I looked up at the top of the mountain. It was a black figure. I waved jokingly, not really thinking the object was a person. It waved back, thinking I was maybe tripping or that it was a tree waving in the wind. I took a puff of my cigarette, only to see the figure blow out a plume of smoke as well. I started seeing it flowing, and I say flowing, almost floating vertically. I ran like hell back to my car, spraining my knee in the process." Number 2. Melding Face. A man whose name is unknown reported the following. He thought it might be one of the Watchers who are often seen in this length of coast range, forms that look human to human eyes, but certainly are not human. They come from behind ridges to watch, but when he approached it, he recognized the shabby clothes and pale hair, and even the averted forehead and concave line from the eye to the jaw. So that he was not surprised when the figure turning toward him in the quiet twilight showed his own face. Then it melded and merged into the shadows beyond it. Number 1. Are Dark Watchers real? It seems that this is a phenomenon for which there are no clear answers. Those enigmatic tall beings dressed in dark upon the cliffs and ridges of these mountains at twilight remain a baffling mystery. Are these just illusions or hallucinations? If so, why should they be confined to this one mountain range? There is also the idea that this may be due to the presence of infrasound signals in the area, which can be caused by natural processes such as the wind along the rocks and can have strange effects on the human psyche. But again, why should the Dark Watchers legend take root here of all places, if that is the case? And why would the reports be so consistent in the appearance and behavior of these entities? Could this be something else? Are these some sort of supernatural or even interdimensional entities here on some unknown mission? It is impossible to tell, and the Dark Watchers of California remain a compelling mystery that really captures the imagination. During the making of this video, I was in the company of my daughter, so I'd like to let her send us off.
This has been another Top 5 Creepy Cryptids. Thanks for watching. Please like and subscribe.